Okay, a few things before I actually get into this deck. This was requested by obviously Scrubzilla. Anyways, so a few things. We're doing this deck because one, we're trying to save Scrubzilla's life from watching Justin Bieber for the rest of his life. Just kidding. Anyways, next up, this deck has a lot of changes that could be made into it. Like, it could be made into so many different things. But this is the final version. I'm not messing with it anymore. It's like been 2 to 3 weeks on this deck. I mean, true, the deck isn't the best deck in history. It has its flaws, but I'm certain this is, well, it's not I'm certain. I know this deck works as good as it's probably going to with my capabilities, but you know, after the deck recipe, you know, you guys can suggest things, you guys can build your own versions and send me recipes and stuff, and I can mess with those too and show it off. But you know, but for now, this is basically what I built. This is what my version is, and this is what I'm going to be playing from, well, this is what I'm going to be playing as an Itsu based deck. So anyways, for anyone that doesn't know what Itsus are, they're a union based deck. If you don't know what union is, it's basically you summon, like, for example, this normal monster, and usually they are normal monsters, or actually no, I think they actually have some effects too, but usually they're normal monsters, and then their union based things are effects that, you know, equip to certain monsters. As for example, this one says it equips a So Itsu. So you look over. So Itsu is the green one, so it can equip to that one. And basically, it acts like an equipped spell. It gives it an effect, and usually they have the thing of if your monster is about to be destroyed, you can destroy the equipped card instead. So yeah, if that's basically all you need to know. More further into it, think along the lines of XYZ Dragon Cannon. Trying to think of other union based decks, but that's pretty much the only one I can think of right now. So yeah. Anyway, so let's actually get into the deck. First off, we have 2 Itsu. I really didn't feel the need to put more than 2 in there. One is like, one point is it's level 5. I mean, you know, it's kind of already hard to get this card out already due to the fact it's level 5, and obviously to keep it alive. So basically, it's just there to be Itsu. It's level 5, and it's equipped. Its union monster is way better than Itsu's, but Itsu is still, I don't know how to explain it. And another thing, they're all riding on paper airplanes, if you didn't notice. So, we'll get into more of the combos in a little bit. Any combos that I explain is how the deck is supposed to work, but if you try out the deck and it doesn't work that way for you, then, well, you know how it's supposed to work, but if the deck doesn't, you know. Also, they're basically elemental based fairies as well, if you haven't noticed. So we'll get into more detail about that too. Just thought that was interesting. Anyway, so we have So Itsu at level 3. More reasonable to summon, but we play 2 of him anyways. We play 2 of like basically everything except Kill Itsu, so that it doesn't clog up the deck too much. Yeah, 0 attack, unfortunately, so not really going to be beating down things until you get your union stuff. Other things, oh, there's really not too much to say about them. Of course the combos will say otherwise, but whatever. One Athena, I ran 2, and then I realized the fact that you have to send a fairy to summon a fairy, so it's basically like a 1 for 1. But this card's actually really good in this deck, believe it or not. And anytime a fairy is summoned, you inflict 600 damage. There's people like, oh, play 2 so you can make Big Eye. There's no reason to play 2. The card, you know, you send a card to the grave to get a card. That's basically what you need to know. So basically with this card, you're sending well, you would send like Doitsu, Koitsu if they're on the field, or you would send like Soitsu or any fairy here technically. Tour guide we'll talk about in a little bit. Anyways, and then you would bring back their union-based monster, and then you would equip it to it off slate, and then you get two big old monsters, and you deal like 1200 damage or something. Of course, there's a burn like OTK with her, like summon 3 of them and just spam honest. But I think that doesn't work because Ultimate Offering is banned. This won't take long. I hope. It's banned, so that combo doesn't work anymore. But yeah, it was an OTK. Also, it's 2600, so really good. We don't play honest because we only have 4 light monsters, and well, it's an elemental based fairy deck thing, so it doesn't really work. Technically, you could use dragon rulers with the deck to make it a lot better. Of course, I'm not going to be cheap and use 3 each of the dragon rulers, because 1, that's a dragon ruler deck by that point, and 2, I don't want to have to use cheap tactics to win. But if you want to, you can make like dragon rulers in here, because they can search out these guys, you know, and then you can like XYZ up and stuff. But if you want to use dragon rulers, fine. There's nothing against it. I just don't want to be that person that uses 3 of them, or even 2 of them to get stuff when we all know dragon rulers are at 1 in the real game. So I mean, in this game I guess it's fine, whatever. So I'm not gonna judge you if you do it that way. It probably will work a lot better, but it's whatever. Dark Lord Asmodeus? I don't know. Basically, what it does is it can't be special summoned from the deck or grave, which really doesn't matter because I don't have a way to do that from the deck. And the grave is kind of annoying, but oh well. Once per turn, you can send a fairy type monster from your deck to the grave. If you're curious, you would send the union monsters. Basically, the point of the deck is to get the union-based monsters in the grave, so you can bring them back with Athena, Rollout, or Call the Haunted. Of course, you use stuff like Limit Reverse or something, but that is for the side deck. Well, side deck's not even a side deck, it's just cards that I would recommend. Anyways, so when this card is destroyed and sent to the grave by battle or by card effect, you can special summon 1 Asmo token, and this is where it gets weird, but don't worry, I'll explain it in full detail. Basically, the one with the stronger attack can't be destroyed by card effects, which is why it has more attack. The one that can't be destroyed by battle, it has less attack and defense. So, actually that doesn't make sense to me now that I think of it. Well, actually no, it does. Because if it had less attack, but it can't be destroyed by card effects, it would be destroyed easier. So yeah, Asmo, it actually says on the tokens which one's which, so you don't really have to worry about it too much. But if you're not too sure, Asmo, the one more attack, cannot be destroyed by card effects. The one with less attack cannot be destroyed by battle. 3 of them is pretty good. I recommend 3. I mean, you can take 1 out if you want, but whatever. It's up to you. I personally don't want to fiddle around with these too much anymore. It works as I like it. 1 or 2 Doitsu, because, you know, we're running 2 Soitsu. So, Doitsu. Things about union monsters. If they're equipped, you can unequip them, special summon them. And yeah, so this one can only be equipped as Soitsu. Or you can unequip it to summon an attack, which I don't know why you do that. But, you know. When it's equipped, the monster gains 2500 attack, and yeah, and anything that's equipped of a union monster, if it would be destroyed by battle, you would destroy this card instead. Union monster. So I'm not gonna mention that later, but, you know, it applies. 2 Hecatrice. We're playing 2 Valhalla, so, you know, makes sense. You play 1 and switch it out for something else, but whatever. 3 Koitsu. This one, you might look at it and you go, level 10, Jesus. And, you know, I kind of think the same thing, but whatever. So, same thing, once per turn during your main phase. Oh, that's probably what happened last time. Okay. I'm not going to talk about last time, because for some reason they went and equipped to each other. But, yeah, I think, alright. So anyways, so you can equip it, yada yada. It only can be equipped to Itsu. We play 3 of them, because they are a lot better than Do. Or is it Do? I don't know. So, Do and Su are basically, or So. Is this Su or So? Are not as great as Koitsu, and Aitsu basically needs this card equipped, so we want to get this card out quicker than Aitsu, so we can have it so when we get Aitsu, so we can equip it. Anyways, so what it does is it gives your monster 3,000 attack. So your monster will be at 3,100 attack because it's 100 already. And when it attacks, it does piercing damage, which, if you haven't watched my other videos, piercing damage is when the attack is higher than the defense, it deals the difference. So if my opponent has 100 defense and my monster has 200 attack, and I attack, they take 100. So, that's pretty much it for that. You could, I guess you could play this in Heroes now I think of it. But, you know, I'm just trying to keep it more to the Itsu and not like Hero Itsu or something. 1 Marshmallow, it basically stalls out. I recommend something. I was gonna play Wall Revealing Light, but it's like, no, that's too much light points, and that's just, I don't know, let's get out of hand at that point. 2 Tour Guides. The deck that I was noticing the first recipe off of was playing 3 in a Sangin, which, let me talk about that real quick. This deck is kind of lacking because Sangin is banned. They got rid of, well, I guess Heavy Storm would be nice in this deck too. There was something else that like they could use that got banned. Oh, Metamorphosis, that's what it was. I don't remember exactly, but it's like Metamorphosis, you choose a fusion, and then you special summon 1 monster with the same level. And also you summon Koitsu and bring out Aitsu and yada yada yada. Anything else I need to mention, go ahead and tell me. But yeah, Sangin being banned, Monster Reborn being banned, Every Storm was nice. You know, those cards getting banned hurt this deck a lot. Not saying the deck was great before, but it was a lot better, like Monster Reborns, Sangin, Metamorphosis, whatever. So, yeah. So anyways, Tour Guide. You normal summon her and you get a level 3 Fiend type in your deck or hand. And you cannot synchro fit, so. And what you do with that is you would make Ghost Trick Alucard, or you would make Zenmains. These XYZs don't really matter. I like to make Alucard though, because he blows up face downs. So, next up, spells. Celestial Transformation. You definitely need this in the deck. If you're gonna run these cards, you need a way to bring them out. Valhalla can't do it by itself, so. And roll out and call the Haunted. So, this card lets you special summon a fairy from your hand, doesn't matter on level, its attack is halved, like, oh well, and it's destroyed during the end phase. Now, if it's equipped, however, it doesn't get destroyed. Which I don't get that part, from what I remember. Huh. I mean, technically you would try to get out the Equit Union. For some reason it doesn't... I guess we'll get in more into that with the duels when I do them. But technically, I don't think it blows them up, from what I remember. But yeah, it basically gets these guys out. You're also going to be using this for Itsu and Koitsu. And someone might be asking, why don't you play double summon? I mean, it's not really worth it if you only have 4 monsters to use double summon for. So, yeah. Pretty high level of special summoning. And also with this card, you can special summon this, and since it blows up, you get 2 tokens if that's what you're going for. So, and remember, you cannot XYZ your tokens. So, not that they're the same level, because I think one's 5 and 3. So, but just so you guys know, 2 creature swap. You can creature swap off one of these bad boys. There was a thing about using Union Rider with this deck and creature swapping it off, and then you would get like the effect of Koitsu or like Soitsu or Duitsu. Do not believe that by by any means, because since the card is not equipped by its own effect of Union equipping, this is going to get really confusing. Basically, when you put Axe of Despair on a card, it's equipping that way. But since you're activating the effect of Koitsu, which is a Union monster, it's equipping by a Union effect, if that makes any sense. So it gives, when it does that, it gives 3000 boost to the monster that it states. So if you use Union Rider to take it, it does nothing for Union Rider. So, I mean, it takes the monster, but there's no reason to do that. So, creature swap, basically, summon Soitsu, trade for something good, and wreck field if, you know, you need some backups. So, Dark Hole, because Dark Hole. Foolish Burial, put obviously more of these Union monsters in the grave. Avoid putting these ones in the grave, because these ones you need on the field to equip to. Next, 2 MST, blows up back row. Not too much to say about that. 1 day of peace, I like it. It works. 2 pod duality. There's other draw cards and stuff, but I personally like this. Only downside is be careful if you're going to like Call the Haunted, roll out, or even this card or a Celestial, because pod duality will stop you from doing that. So make sure you keep that in mind. Other than that, it's pretty good in this deck, even though people might say take it out since you're special summoning. Valhalla, you special summon 1 fairy if you have no if you have no fairy type or monsters on your side of the field. So you summon Itsu. You can summon Soitsu if you want to summon Doitsu by normal summon. And if you don't remember these monsters by name, I forgot what they exactly mean in English. So it was something random, but it was like they're from Gradius if you were curious. Gradius, whatever. Anyways, so Itsu, you would special summon, and then you would like roll out for Koitsu, and if you want to, you can special summon Soitsu to summon Doitsu. So, I mean, I guess you can use the whole engine with Doitsu and Soitsu, or a whole engine with Itsu and Koitsu. So, you know, either way you want to do it. Usually I like to special summon this bad boy out, or even this one, so I can get bonuses. 1 bottomless trap hole destroys a monster and banishes it if it has 1500 more attack. 3 Call the Haunted, really needed, since Monster Reborn is not a thing anymore in this. And by that means, banned obviously. You basically just bring back a Union monster, or you bring back Athena, you bring back one of these 2, and you basically do some shenanigans. Not too much to say about it. 1 Compulse, because I like it. You can run to Torrential if you don't want to run those 2 traps of Bottomless and Compulse. 2 Phoenix Wing Blast. Obviously you're discarding Koitsu or Doitsu. Let's see. And 2 rollout. You can play 3 if you like. I thought this deck card was. I actually feel like this card locks up the deck, so I didn't want to run 3 of them because I kept drawing into this when I didn't need it. And basically, for anyone that is new to unions, basically this lets you target a union in your grave and equip it to the appropriate monster. And that's pretty much it for the deck. Now, for anyone that doesn't want to stick around after this, it is fine, because I am going to talk about what you can play with the deck. But for anyone that's sticking around, or for anyone that's curious about the extra deck is just random cards. It really just is. Like level 8s, if you want to make ranks 8s, Ghost Trick out of the card, and Zen mains for level 3s, which Tour Guide is good for. You don't make rank 4s too much, but you can. And 2 rank 10s if you want to, and obviously Vocosaurus for my low rank 5 choice. For this, I mean, you could clean this up and add whatever cards you want. This is just if I make a rank 7, or try to make rank 7 somehow with Athena. So, where's Athena? There you are. So, yeah, pretty much that, and that explains that whole entire deck. So anyone that's sticking around, we are going to the side deck, talk about random cards that help out the deck that you can play instead of the cards I have. But if you already are enjoyed what I showed already and are already out to try out the deck is a 6.5. I don't really care for it too much. It works. It works as it does. But I mean, it's just too much of a hassle to get out certain stuff, like to make sure to get this Koitsu and Itsu, and most of the time I'm just summoning out Dark Lord and just wrecking field of it, that I just totally dismiss those 2 cards. But technically the deck, if you were to play it in the Itsu standard, it's a basically 8 out of 10. You know, as much for an Itsu deck, it's an 8 out of 10. As much fun as I get out of it, I get 6.5. I've had more fun with Evil Frogs, to be honest. Evil Frogs is still one of my favorites. So, but you know, I still have fun with this deck. Don't get me wrong, I actually do. It's just not as much fun because, really, I like to win sometimes. And I'm making my words sound really bad. This deck does win, trust me. It does some damage if you know how to play it. It's just I spent so much time on this deck, and like, you know, I was hoping to say this deck's like super OP and broken, but it really isn't. It really is not. It's kind of like tunes. Tunes are fun, but they're not like OP. So yeah, definitely 8 out of 10 for being an Itsu deck. Funness, I give it 6.5. Not really fun to me, but you know, I made it for Scrub, and Scrub can enjoy it. I mean, they're riding paper airplanes, they're from Gradius, their names mean something, I forget. So yeah, I hope you enjoy that deck, Scrub. Anyways, on to the side deck. Christia is a great card if you have 4 fairies in there. The reason it's not in the deck is because, I don't know, it just seems like with all the milling stuff I have, I don't feel like it would help out in this deck at all, because I would run over 4 fairies quickly. So, but if you want to play it, it's really good. It helps out, blocks your opponent from doing stuff. Keep in mind that if you don't have your setup, then you will end up screwing yourself of Itsus. Debris is a good card. You can bring back any of the Itsus, and basically you can synchro up with them if you want, or you can just, you know, basically bringing these back doesn't bother the deck at all, because it's like, oh, you negate my effect. It's a normal monster, so yeah. Next up, Peacekeeper. For the deck I prefer going everything in the grave, but Peacekeeper is good if you want to get Union monsters in your hand. So when it's destroyed with battle and sent to when it's destroyed and sent to the grave, you can add a Union to your hand. That's basically what you need to know. Morphing Jar, pretty good, dumps stuff you need in the grave and set up for your next play. Watch out for Dark Worlds and Fables, of course. Mother Grizzly, basically you search out the Koetsu. If you decide to use UFO turtles or giant rats or whatever, go right ahead instead of this. But this is just an example of a card that I like to use if I was to use the deck. Raikou, basically light sworn monsters. Only Lila and Raikous, of course. Basically, they would get rid of back row and stuff and mill out cards you need, and then it helps out a lot. Splendid Venus, someone recommended this in another video I saw of an Itsu deck, so I was like, okay, well, show it off. Helps out with helping so that your opponent cannot overpower your fairies by doing like not Draco stack, like a blue ice deck, I guess. Keep in mind that your effects of spells and traps cannot be negated either, so one Dark World Dealing is a good card if you are luckier than I am. Basically, you draw and you discard a Koetsu or a Doetsu, whatever, you know. Frontline base is pretty good. You could summon level 4 or lower Union monsters from your hand, which I see why no one runs it, but Doetsu is really good to bring outfit. If you decide to go all Doetsu, then there you go. Lightning Vortex, like Dark Hole, so, and you don't mind discarding Unions. Basically with this one, I actually find this interesting because you can discard and target a monster and destroy it. So anything that technically needs to get a card in the grave, I would recommend this card because it personally does a lot of damage. Like, even though I played a Phoenix Wings, that's because I like to bounce stuff back. But this still does damage. The same thing for Raigeki Break. There was another one, I don't remember. But anything that discards to do an effect is pretty good in this deck. One finishing thing for negation, I guess you can play it. I don't like it. It doesn't help the deck. It just clogs up the back row already, so. There's also a spell that you can get rid of a continuous trap to draw 2, but you don't play enough to actually make it work. Or it doesn't come as often, I guess, I don't know. I actually haven't tried it, so I don't know. I'm just making stuff up now. Fu Rin Kazan. Wow, that's complicated. Anyways, so when there is a wind, fire, water, and earth, which is all those, apply one of these effects. Destroy all monsters your opponent controls, destroy all spells and traps, discard 2 random, and draw 2 cards. So basically, it helps out the deck a little bit if you like that. Limit reverse, but the problem is you have to have all of them out as monsters. So yeah, be careful about that. Limit reverse, if you don't like Call the Haunted, then this can help too. Raigeki Break, I'll say discard. There is also crud, I don't remember what it's called. Equip. It's, oh right, this card helps out too, which it helps you get over certain stuff with the Itsus. What else was there? There was another card. Why can't I not find this? Do not play Roll and Decree in this deck because you'll get wrecked too. Trapstone is fine because you don't really care. But Royal Decree is kind of pushing it. It's a Release Restraint Wave, that's what it's called. That's why I can't find it. where is it? There. Basically, you can send one of your unions to destroy stuff on, destroy all face down spells and traps or point controls, which is good too. Other stuff. I forget. Is Nova Summoner only for light? Yeah, it is. I remember now what it is. So yeah, basically, I already talked about the things about it. Talked about the pros, the cons, what would you do. Also, BLS is fine to run in this too if you want. I don't run it because I don't know. I just don't feel like it would be that helpful. I mean, it'd be helpful, but I don't get the right cards in the graveyard quick enough, I don't think, for a BLS play. So yeah. Last results. Make sure you get the unions in the grave and get one of these two out. Remember, so let's double equip to it, and let's it equip to a Itsu. And basically you just use rollout. Oh, fun thing, rollout will allow you to equip the union monster to the right monster. So it's basically like if you were to rush recklessly when your opponent attacks your monster, and then it's like, you know, just remember there's no damage steps, so be careful about that. You can play Lance, also any of the forbidden cards, the Forbidden Dress, Forbidden Lance, whatever, if you want. But yeah. I don't really know what else to say. I mean, watch out for skill drain. Watch out for pretty much every other deck. But, you know, this deck is more of like a trollish, fun thing. So I'll show it off in some duels next time I record. So catch you guys later. This is Dragox55 signing out. Have a good day.